The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning to you, one and all. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed, we are having some major issues this morning with none of... You're listening to me, your lovable host. None of my technology seems to be responding or working very well this morning. I'm none of it. It's as if somebody has just taken over my entire studio this morning. Computers are doing whatever the hell they want. All of them. Well, it is Friday morning, and what do we do on Fridays? We take things a little bit lighter, as we do every Friday. Yes, indeed. So we have a little bit more fun, a little bit more frivolity here on the first day of autumn. That's right, the first day of fall, September 22nd in the year of our Lord 2017. The Hot Rod line, the call-in Hot Rod line is 603-835-3226. Those are the numbers that you, digits that you need in order to call the program. We are here for another 3 hours of fun, frivolity, and information for your enjoyment, entertainment, and for your edification, to get you up to speed on what's happening out there. And, we'll throw in some fun-loving stuff as well. Although this isn't very fun-loving, we've got the war of words of Kim Jong-il, the son, and Donald Trump. There are people out there that are telling, the president, yeah, you got to stop your all the rhetoric because you got to stop pushing at each other. Like, you know what? You know what Trump is basically telling Kim Jong-il? Every time Kim Jong-il says something pertaining to, destroying the United States, and issuing or releasing fire, hellfire and all that kind of stuff. This is what Trump is basically saying. He's saying, bitch, please. And seriously. But look, let's don't make it, let's not mix words here. What Trump is pretty much saying to Kim Jong-il and to anybody else who wants to take on the U.S. It's his version of speak softly, carry a big stick. You know, Trump is not the first president to use strong language in telling people, look, don't do this. Don't threaten, don't attack. We will respond. Don't threaten or attack our allies. We will respond. George H.W. Bush, I didn't use such strong language that Trump was using because he's using colloquial New York City speak. I used a more political, a more calm tone, but I said exactly the same thing when we put together the coalition to go in there and kick him out. For Saddam Hussein, we told him. I even called him Saddam. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. We've had presidents that have used strong language. We've had presidents that used that took a strong stance. We've had presidents that have said, look, you know, even if, we've had presidents that have said, that have taken us to the brink. I mean, I want people to think about this. What happened in the early 1960s under President John F. Kennedy? Yeah, there are a lot of people that believe that we were on the brink of nuclear war with the Soviet Union. Because John F. Kennedy was not taking any of Khrushchev's shit. He wasn't going to put up with it. Was it Khrushchev? Anyway. No, it wasn't Brezhnev. Brezhnev was later. He wasn't putting up with any of his shit. And he was willing to use the force of the United States. I know some people say, well, you don't do that international blockading of another country. Yeah, you do. When it means your own country's safety, your allies' safety, when you know you have a threatening entity. Now, whether or not look, I can't tell. I wasn't alive then. I can't fully tell you if the United States government actually believed that it would be a mutual destruction if we actually went to war, because as we know, now looking at history, the Soviets really weren't prepared to take us on back then. They weren't. I mean, I don't know if our government actually thought that they were, or they just made the American people believe that they were. But evidently, Kennedy knew something because he was willing to take it to the brink. And the Soviets blinked first. That's the way it works in geopolitics. If you're weak, you get crushed. Now, make no mistake about it. Kim Jong-il understands this too, evidently. He can't blink. He can't make his people think that he blinks. He can't let the world think that he's blinking. But I guarantee you, Donald Trump is not going to blink. He is. And look, I'm sure that back in the day, there were plenty of people on both sides of the aisle who were upset with John Kennedy. You took us to the brink of war. Well, it was necessary. It was completely and utterly and totally necessary. This is probably less serious than the Cuban Missile Crisis. It is. This is less serious. There isn't yet. There isn't a North Korea missile crisis yet. So before it gets to be that serious, and let's face it, I don't care if North Korea does have a 1 million-man standing army. They're nowhere near the match for the United States. Now, I'm not saying North Korea is a pushover. They would obviously be tougher to deal with than say Iraq's army back in the day. And not to, well, I mean, look, what I think what you'd have happen is a lot of Nork soldiers trying to escape the country via the Soviet Union and China, which is why China put so many troops on the border with North Korea. They don't want them coming over. I think they would sandwich them. I don't think Putin would let them into Russia either. Now, I don't know how many troops Putin has put on the border with North Korea, but he's pretty much told North Korea, look, you got to cut this out, dude. Nothing we can do. We're not allies. We're not friends. There's not much we can do, but we can keep you out of our own country and keep the war from bleeding into the Soviet Union if you're going to play this game. So, I mean, I don't know if other countries are going to come to who's going to come to their aid. Iran, although I got some stuff here from Iran. We'll talk about Iran a little bit later. But look, Trump is not the only. He's not the only. They're making this sound like he's some unhinged type of person, which is not true. Like he's shooting from the hip. Remember when they said at Bush it was cowboy diplomacy? George W. Bush? Yeah, they accused him of cowboy diplomacy. Remember that? Because he wouldn't bring the world into his decisions. Well, neither is Trump. Trump isn't bringing the world into his decisions. He's just telling Kim Jong-il, this is what's going to happen if you keep this crap up. I don't remember anybody, saying that John F. Kennedy was a cowboy and was shooting from the hip. But it was necessary. It was well, Rod, you weren't alive then. You don't know. Well, that's why they call it history. You can still learn about history. And look, I've seen a ton of documentaries on this thing. From the 80s on, I've seen a ton of documentaries, and not as well. I mean, there have been a couple of documentaries of late that sort of make it seem like JFK was a little bit at fault. So I guess the left is trying to rewrite history with JFK now too, a little bit. They're starting to, because hey. He wasn't a full-blown socialist. JFK was in today's equivalent, he was a modern GOP moderate. That's what he'd be today. Yeah, he'd be friends with Lindsey Graham and John McCain. He would not be friends with the likes of Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, and who's the guy from Colorado now? That's going away. God, I wish Chuck Schumer would go away. The evil elf. Wish Nancy Pelosi would go away. The whole thing with North Korea. Nobody's saying that this is staged between Trump and Kim Jong-il. Nobody's saying that. They're all saying that Trump is all bluster. I don't think he's all bluster. He hasn't. Well, he has used military power. He has used the largest non-nuclear bomb available to us already. He has shown that he's willing to actually, pull the trigger, as it were. I don't think it's a good idea for Kim Jong-il to push it. Don't think it's a good idea for him to push it. Because when it comes right down to it, I fully believe that the president, what he said at the UN, that he would completely, totally, utterly protect the United States and its people and its allies. And nobody was going to get in his way. Nobody was going to stop him. No leftist was going to cry on his shoulder, and no leftist was going to try to pressure him and say, oh, no, don't do that. We want world peace. No, screw that. These people over there don't want world peace. Do you think the Soviet Union wanted world peace? They wanted world peace on their terms, which would have meant world domination of Soviet-style communism. That's what that was all about. And JFK said no, but nobody's complaining today. Not even the left is complaining today about JFK's actions, although some of them are trying to rewrite it and say, oh, we were closer than we thought. I don't think so. And I think, quite frankly, I think JFK was pretty certain of what the outcome would be, which is why he did it. He was pretty damn certain that the Soviets would blink and back off, and they did. Although I did see some sort of conspiracy. Did you know that we had a secret nuclear war with the Soviet Union? Yeah, they didn't back off, evidently. I'm just these theories, these people with these conspiracy theories. Some of them are just total wow. And that it was where did I see it? It was some conspiracy page, and I'm thinking about it. What happened was, evidently, the Soviets didn't back off. There was a small little skirmish, and there was some a mini nuclear weapon was used, but there were aliens who were watching the whole thing and contained the blast. And the Soviet Union and the United States lost a couple of ships in this, but it wasn't we and the Soviets who came to terms and backed off. It was aliens said, now, children, you're not going to do this. So there are some people out there who believe that nonsense. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Around the town when folks are snacking,
Bell's the brand you'll find them packing.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. At parties, dinner, or when you're lunching,
Bell's the brand that gets you crunching.
the great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell.
The potato chip that's made today is fresh today to be crisp today. So dip away, eat them any old way, and let the chips fall where they may.
In the bag or boxed in the pack,
Bell's the one that keeps you coming back.
'cause great taste tells. If it's Bell, it's swell. Bell, swell.
603-835-3226. Glad that you are here. Glad that you are tuning in. Here it is. It is a Friday. Yes, it's Friday morning. It is the first day of autumn. The autumnal equinox is what we used to call it in elementary school. We also call it fall. Although the cooler temperatures have not arrived here in the Northeast, evidently there are places in this country where they have skipped fall and ran in direct head on into winter. And that's on the plate a little bit for a little bit later in the program as well. But first, Aaron Hernandez. Everybody remember Aaron Hernandez? Well, he was a promising New England Patriots end receiver. Look, I remember before he got in trouble with the murder case that he was involved in. He had it all. He had the opportunity, he had the chance, the skills to be a superstar for the Patriots. Well, I mean, I don't know if you consider him good looking or not, but here in New England, people thought he was tall, he was handsome, and he even appeared to be nice to fans. He was starting to get endorsements, for products and services here in New England. He was on his way to being a superstar. But then he went and screwed it up by, being a hood rat and bringing his hood rattery to his suburban estate while playing for the New England Patriots, and he got caught. He was accused of and convicted of murdering a friend of his, no less. But now that they're saying that this wasn't him. And depending on what publication that you're reading, there are those people on Aaron Hernandez's side that are now suing. I mean, you've heard, well, his sister's suing, his daughter's suing, his fiance is suing, his mom is suing. It's somebody different depending on the publication. But let's just say the Aaron Hernandez people, a part of the Aaron Hernandez estate, are now suing the NFL and the New England Patriots because they found out that he was suffering from advanced stages of CTE, which is a degenerative brain disease, which was the cause, which has been the cause of so much consternation of so many NFL players, that have passed on. Because you can only find this out once a person is dead, because you got to take the brain out and slice it up, and that's how they can find out if you have CTE or not. They can't do it while you're alive, although they probably could do it to some people while they're alive, and we wouldn't notice any change in them at all. But according to researchers, football players who began playing before the age of 12 were more likely to exhibit cognitive and behavioral problems later in life. And now this is what some people are saying about Hernandez's CTE, that it was so advanced and so degenerative that it could not have happened in the NFL, and thus possibly the NFL is not responsible, but it happened before the NFL, possibly going back to his Pop Warner days, which, folks, now all of a sudden you've got parents out there who are pulling their kids out of Pop Warner football. Now, I've watched some... Well, I mean, the high school age and the middle school age Pop Warner, they can get in some pretty big hits. But I've watched Pop Warner football. They don't hit very hard. Kids get their brains racked harder if they fall off their bikes, even when they're wearing a helmet. I'm just saying. This is pretty much a bunch of nonsense. But, well, we'll get into this in a lot more as the program continues. We'll be right back, folks.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
Yes, indeed, that is a version of Awesome God, and indeed he is pretty darn awesome. In my book, he is. That's not Allah either. There are people that would think otherwise, that think that Allah is just wonderful. But in any case, according to researchers, football players who begin playing football before the age of 12 are more likely to exhibit cognitive and behavioral problems later in life due to potential CTE issues. It's worth noting that Hernandez began his football career at around age 6. Though it was Pop Warner football, which is non-contact. Well, it's not really non-contact. Again, I've seen Pop Warner. It's just, well, I mean, if you ever see the little kids, 7, 8, 9 years old, 10 years old, you see these kids running around on the Pop Warner football field. Their gear weighs more than they do. They can barely see out of those stupid helmets. There's not a lot of real hitting or contact going on. Like I said, the brains get jostled more learning how to ride a bike without training wheels than they do on the Pop Warner football field at that age. But parents still, nonetheless, are pulling their kids. You're going to start seeing parents pulling their kids off of Pop Warner football fields for fear of CTE. Folks, this is the death knell for the NFL. America, and if you think, well, we'll replace, American football with European football. No, we won't. Even though kids, you would think that in the 90s, because of the 90s, late 80s and throughout the 90s, and at the turn of this brand new century, that soccer was going to overtake baseball roles were down, Little League and Babe Ruth and other Cal Ripken leagues, they were seeing a decline in baseball signups during that period of time because everybody thought baseball was on the decline because everybody was signing up their kids to play soccer. Soccer was everywhere. We had spring soccer, summer soccer, fall soccer, indoor winter soccer in the northern climes. Soccer was everywhere. Kids were just going to soccer, crazy. Parents were soccer parents. Why do you think we got the whole term soccer mom? Because it was soccer everywhere. Oh yeah, by the way, yet now they're claiming CTE can come from heading a soccer ball. And there have actually been some children's soccer leagues that have banned using your head from heading or headbutting the soccer ball because of the so-called CTE stuff. I'm not kidding. This stuff is for real. But everybody thought soccer didn't take off at all. With all the children, because everybody said, well, we need to have the so-called beginners and minor leagues in soccer in order to have a full-blown professional soccer league like in the rest of the world. We had millions of kids playing soccer for at least a decade, and it didn't translate into huge. These kids aren't watching soccer. They played it, but they're not watching it. They're not supporting it. They're not going to professional soccer matches. So soccer isn't going to take over, not in this country. We're just not a soccer nation for whatever reason. I know we got a bunch of immigrants here and first and second generation from immigrants that love soccer, but we're not a soccer nation. We're not like Europe and South America. We're just not in South Africa. For whatever reason, it's not taking off for us. North Americans are just not big on soccer. We do seem to be big on American football, not European football. What are they going to do with Australian rules football? Rugby? You got rugby and Australian rules football. What are they going to? I don't see anybody down in Australia talking about CTE and banning it down there, but that's what we're doing here. They're not talking about banning football up in Canada, the Canadian Football League. Haven't heard much about that up there. Just in Canada's pretty liberal. Australia has been pretty liberal. Great Britain, where rugby has also got a foothold, is pretty liberal. But none of them are talking about getting rid of Americanized style football at all. Nope. Just here. Although I do understand where the NFL is trying to they're trying to survive by exporting American football to places like Asia. Now, I'm sorry, I can't buy a 5'5" Asian male playing American style football. And no, I know it's a stupid stereotype. Not all Asians are tiny and short. A lot of them are, though. Let's face it, they are. And that goes for the males. They're not traditionally tall, big people. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. I'm not calling them, well, I mean, Indians from India, they tend to be a little bit taller, but very thin. I can't see them playing football either because they're all too damn skinny. I don't think they'd be able to put on the equipment. The equipment probably weighs more than a lot of Indians from India. It's just who they are. There's nothing wrong with it. But the very notion that we're going to get rid of football because some people think of this CTE stuff as too dangerous, and they're blaming it for all kinds of things, not just suicide. Now they're going to be blaming it on Hernandez acting like a crazy person and killing somebody. Hernandez also suffered a childhood trauma with the sudden and unexpected loss of his father, Dennis Hernandez, who died during routine hernia surgery. Well, obviously it wasn't routine. Who dies during a hernia surgery? I mean, honestly. It cannot be definitively stated that Hernandez suffered blows to the head before the age of 12. Nonetheless, his behavior, even before joining the Patriots in the NFL, may have presented red flags. So the Patriots were supposed to, and the NFL were supposed to have recognized, before we even fully knew about this CTE crap, they were supposed to fully recognize that there was something wrong and off about Aaron Hernandez. We were supposed to know this. They were supposed to know this. How about we take responsibility for our own actions? Now, I understand that if brain damage is brain damage, and it can affect who you are and how you interact with others. But say that the Patriots are responsible, or anybody's responsible, before we really fully understand what this is, what CT is, and the very fact that Hernandez apparently is the first one that with severe CTE that became a murderer. I think this is nothing more than a financial and money grab because a good portion of his fortune was eaten up in his legal bills in order to try to keep him out of jail, and it didn't work. But now they're saying, well, see, this is why he killed himself in prison. No, I don't think so. I think he killed himself because he had some issues because he was in jail for the rest of his life. He didn't want to be there. He thought he was going to be able to skirt this and get out of it, and it became clear that he was not going to be able to. I mean, that is pretty much the case. And, of course, there were also the rumors of him being gay. Well, I mean, we know about jailhouse gayness. I mean, that happens a lot. I mean, they don't have they don't have real females in a men's jail, so you might team up or hook up with somebody else. We've heard of this is a natural phenomenon. There's nothing new about that. jailhouse homosexuality. There's nothing new about that. Many a prisoner, while inside, are homosexual, but as soon as they get out, they become heterosexual again, which is why a lot of people say that homosexuality is a choice, because, hey, you can go into prison, and it's a choice that you get your rocks off with another male inmate, even have a boyfriend while you're inside. And as soon as you get out, you're back to females, back to women. And so they're trying to say that this was Hernandez. He had a jailhouse lover, and that he couldn't take it. There are a number of contributing factors, and maybe CTE had again, I'm not a mental health professional. Maybe CTE did have a little bit to do with it, but it had nothing to do with him pulling the trigger on a friend of his and murdering him. Are we going to start blaming people? What are we going to do? Are we going to start asking the question now of if somebody's convicted of murder, but wait. Does he have CTE? Did he play soccer or football in high school or before high school? He could. Well, we can't determine, evidently, with today's testing. There's no way of knowing if a person has this disease, this CTE degenerative disease, until after they die. It's called chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Yes, I actually pronounced that correctly. And according to records, it's been found in more than 100 former NFL players, some of whom committed suicide, according to researchers at Boston University. Yet the results of the study of Mr. Hernandez's brain are adding another dimension to his meteoric rise and fall that could raise questions about the root of his erratic, violent behavior and lead to a potentially tangled legal fight with the NFL. Well, how are they supposed to know? There are a lot of people who didn't know anything about it. Well, we had the Will Smith. Will Smith played the doctor that supposedly found this disease, right? I forget the name of the movie. It was one of those boring feel-good movies, evidently. The problem is that there's a lot of stuff that we just don't know about the body, the biological systems, and as we find out as we find out. Pretty much, that's it. We learn as we find out. But as we learn and find out, we can't hold people and entities and companies and governments responsible if we didn't know. That's kind of like saying, hey, cell phones cause brain cancer. Okay, so we find out and we change the way cell phones are manufactured so that they don't cause brain cancer. But are we supposed to go back in time until, the late 1980s? And start suing because everybody's got brain cancer and use a cell phone? That's the reason? No, because we didn't know. It's the same with the CTE stuff. We didn't know. Well, we need to take care of these people. Do we? You did. Nobody's forcing these people to come and play in the NFL. Nobody. Well, they're enticing them with millions and millions of dollars. Well, that's what they want. They want millions and millions of dollars to play. Hernandez was no different. The problem is we do not know how long Hernandez had this disease. We do not know what caused it. We do not know how he got it. We don't even know all the full facts of how people get it. Do boxers have CTE? We call it punch drunk, right? Remember that? But not every. Why? Boxers get their heads bashed all the time, a lot more than football players, and a lot harder too. Are we going to start saying this about mixed martial artists? Don't think that the liberals are going to stop here at the NFL. This thing is going to encompass a lot of sports because why? Sports is competition. Competition has winners and losers. And anything or any competition that has contact that can jar the head is going to be blamed for CTE and that we're going to have to do something about it, possibly get rid of it. The sport, not CTE. Yeah, there are liberals that are saying that it's time that we shut down the NFL because it's too dangerous. Kid you not. Well, at the rate the NFL's going, with all these individual protests against the national anthem, they may end up killing themselves, not CTE.
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Facebook and Google are facing down some severe challenges to their futures. Google and Facebook may be fined unless they remove terrorist propaganda within 2 hours of it being posted. This is something that British Prime Minister Theresa May urges sites to block hate material before it even goes online. She used a summit in New York earlier this week to warn the technology giants that she said that patience is running out over their failure to clamp down on jihadis. Mrs. May has warned Google and Facebook and others like those social networks that they have a month to make progress in making changes. Yes, So you got European governments that are trying to crack down on Facebook and Google. Now, I understand Facebook and Google, they're the giants out there right now in the internet world, and everybody's looking to them to make progress and strides as to how best to go about, shall we say, censorship. This is all they're talking about, folks, is censorship. Rod, we can't have the jihadis, coordinate. Look, they don't need Facebook and Google Plus or any Google entity in order to, They don't need Google to do any of that stuff, or Facebook in order to communicate with each other online. I mean, look, a couple of weeks ago here on this program, I got a brief introduction and edumacation on the dark web. That is where a lot of these people go. And if you are a jihadi and you're doing stuff on Twitter, on Facebook, or on Google Plus, you're an idiot. I'm not warning them. I'm just saying that they're. I'm glad that we have some idiots, but they're idiots. I've been learning about the dark. There's all kinds of ways that you can. It's easy to get to the dark web, evidently, and it's easy to get behind the screens where everybody else can see. And estimates have said there are estimates out there that talk about the dark web, and that the web that everybody uses, the light web, the web that's on top, the internet that's on top, is basically is only 10% of what's available, what's out there. The rest of 90% is dark web. Well, I'm thinking, well, hell, there's an awful lot that's on the surface. So I got two questions. What exactly is a dark web? And if 90% of the entire web traffic is dark, what the hell is out there? No wonder nobody can get on the dark web and find anything because... monitor anything because it's so vast. We know how hard it is just to do on the so-called 10% that most of us use on a daily basis. Can you imagine if that's only 10%? So she says she's going. Theresa May is using the summit in New York to warn technological giants and their rivals that her patience is running out over their failure to clamp down on jihadi groups. This also with Facebook turning over Russian-linked ads to Congress. Now, under growing pressure from Congress and the public to reveal more about the spread of covert Russian propaganda on Facebook, the company said Thursday it was turning over more than 3,000 Russia-linked ads to congressional committee investigating the Kremlin's influence operation during the 2016 presidential campaign. Yes, so what they're saying is that now maybe there's no Russian collusion with Trump, but they did interfere in the election by placing Facebook ads. So Facebook ads were the basis for Hillary Clinton. Now, this is what they're going to say. Facebook ads were the reason that Hillary Clinton lost the election. These people just won't stop.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though You think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, indeed. Here it is, a Friday, September number 22 in the year of our Lord 2017. And as we do on every Friday, including this Friday, which also happens to be the first day, official day of the fall. Yes, autumn is now upon us. What we do every Friday is take things a little bit lighter. I give you more of the lighter side of politics, pop culture, current events, and just about anything else. Now, we also talk about anything that you want to talk about. So if you have a subject, I suggest it. You can call and talk about it. You can call the Hot Rod line at 603-835-3226 because that is what we do on Fridays. And it can be just about anything. All I ask is that you keep it clean, please. Because if anybody's going to get down and dirty, that's just me. I'm the only one that can get down and dirty. Because I am a professional. I know how to do it with class and dignity. Yes, I know how to get down and dirty with class and dignity. So obviously that's an oxymoron. You can't get down and dirty if you have class and and show class and dignity. Can you be classy while being dirty? Is there such thing as classy dirty? I don't. I got some news here from the British royals. Do you think Prince Harry would ever? Well, there would never. You'd never see any British royal or any royal anywhere actually mud wrestling. Or fighting in a pit, right? So how can you be? Because they can't do it with class. I would assume. I'm just saying. I have nothing against royal families or royalty all over there. We still got plenty of royalties around the world. Royal people, royal families, and believe it or not, a lot of them still have real and actual governing power. Even the British monarchies. There are still some of them real active, and they're not generally figureheads like the British monarchy. I mean, there are some monarchies that are really hold the political reins and political power. Spain. I know a lot of people don't know this, but Spain still has a king, and the king still holds a lot of political power. In Spain, you tell people, no, that's not. Yeah, it is true. In most of the Nordic countries, Sweden, Norway, still have kings and queens that pretty much run the government. And not to mention, of course, in the Middle East. I mean, just about a good 90% of the Middle East is run by kings and emirates. I mean, come on. Many of them are kingdoms. And we still have, I guess, well, I don't know if they call themselves kings anymore in Africa, but some African nations still have kings and queens, royalty. There's still now if you want to toss in the figureheads, sure, even more countries, even Japan still has an emperor. Now he's mostly a figurehead, much like the British monarchy, but still there. So we still have kings and queens and monarchies all around the globe. They're not, and there are many deposed monarchies whose royal family still has money. The deposed royal families, and we still call them. I mean, that there are still some of the Eastern Europe still has, we still call them, the prince and princess of this. They'll never get their power back, but I think for a while there was somebody that was supposed to be the royal family of Greece too. Remember that? That was for maybe many of us are probably too young to remember the Greek monarchy, but yeah, they were around. And they're, they're members of the royal family that are still known to be members of the royal family of things like former Austria and Germany and places like that. But, they'll never get they're not even figureheads. They'll never get their power back. In fact, some of them, some royal family members probably can't return to their home countries because they would be arrested and imprisoned in some places. Now, that's the truth. So we're a world that is still all about individuals running our governments, ruling over people. This whole notion that people actually get a voice in how their government and how they are governed and how their government is run is fairly new. I mean, it may have been a dream for eons, but it's only been a reality for a short period of time. And we here in America, we take that for granted. We think, well, Jesus, it's been this way since, we were born. Right? But that's not a very long period of time, actually, in reality. 1800, basically. Yeah, sure, 1776, we declared our independence and blah, 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 blah. But being a real country and really getting things going didn't happen until, 1798, 1800. It hasn't been that long. A little over 200 years. And in the greater scheme of things of worldwide history for mankind, that's a drop in the bucket. And we just by our very existence, we spurred on some other people in other countries to think, well, maybe they could be more self-governed too. Now, at the same time, during that 200-year history, not only did we have some countries that moved more towards freedom, like Canada, like France, Bastille Day, getting rid of their monarchy. And instituting and England. Well, England was already, crazy King George. They were already moving towards curtailing the power of the British monarchy. In other countries, we're getting rid of their monarchies got rid of their monarchies over the past 200 years. Italy and Germany. You could say it was due to a number of things. Could have been war, like World War I, what have you, or other major wars in the 1800s. But this whole idea of self-governance, it may have been in man's view and man's dreams for eons, but the reality of it is a very short period of time. And in that short period of time, we've also spurned and spawned anti-freedom types of government. Now, if you think monarchies were free, I know we all talk about, we're going to be free men and that type of thing and not be beholden. King Arthur, he's a free king. No, they're not free. That wasn't freedom. That was monarchy is not freedom. You don't have a choice of who your leaders are. In a free country, free society, you do. You get to choose how your government is run. In monarchies, you don't. It's based on the luck of the birth. And we've seen all throughout history that monarchies in various countries, depending on who is, you've had a good king, and they had a good wife, a good queen, and they had a child, and they had a good child, or they had a bad child, an evil child. It didn't matter if the child was an angel or a devil. The child became the next king or queen. And you had to put up with it your entire life. So this is the first time in the last 200 or so years, less than 250 years, has been an eye-opener for mankind. We do realize that we can self-govern. Sure, we've also given rise to things like Marxism, communism, socialism, and in some places they're learning that this is not the way to go. I mean, they learned, in much of the world, that communism sucked, and they got rid of it. Now, sure, they still have some sort of oppressive regimes in many of these former communist nations, but they really understood that. They finally understood that communism sucks. It doesn't work. There's no freedom there. There's no choice in who you're governing. You might as well have a monarchy if you're not going to have a choice. And we have dictators all over the country still in these little podunk countries, which Donald Trump famously exposed at the UN the other day, earlier this week. We got rogue regimes all over the place. Well, they're not really rogue. They're just dictatorial assholes in my book. We're always going to have them. Because there is evil in the world, and sometimes, we just have evil kids. Don't tell me, well, no, there's no evil kid. Anybody ever see the Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood movie, The Good Son? Yeah, kids are just, if kids could never be evil, we wouldn't be locking up some kids. In childhood prisons, basically. That's what they are. You can give them any other name you want, but basically they're jail, they're prisons. But they're for kids. We lock up kids because kids can be criminals. Kids can be evil. We lock up evil people. And some of them, maybe some of them have CTE issues like supposedly Aaron Hernandez had. And some are just, they just choose to be that way. And maybe factually, maybe some are just born evil. No child is born. Well, maybe some are just born evil. How else do they can have good parents that try to bring them up right. We see monarchies all the time. They had great, their parents, their king and queen were wonderful and tried to raise them right, tell them right from wrong, and they still just grew up to be an evil king or an evil queen. I mean, there is evil. It just happens. We're always going to have it. Liberals don't think so. But I'm telling you that there is evil. It's always going to be. We're not going to get rid of it. It's not within our power to. Well, I don't know. Maybe someday they'll find a drug or lobotomize certain people every time. When somebody is born, they'll be able to. Well, unless we do something medically to people at the time that they're born, which then makes them into automatons and non-human in my book. Don't doubt that somebody someday will say that that's necessary. But there's always going to be some people who do not undergo those procedures. We know this to be true. And so they'll be the ones that lead everybody because they won't be robots. They won't be, That's part of AI. I mean, are we going to get? Can you think of artificial intelligence realizing that it is sentient, and out of that sentientness, some of that AI is going to turn evil? Can you imagine? I mean, by the way, there's I just heard that, speaking of artificial intelligence getting sentient and turning evil, they're going to make some more Terminator movies. Yeah. Linda Hamill is coming back to reprise her role as Sarah Connor, and as well as obviously, Now, this is 25 years later since Linda Hamill played Sarah Connor, and the last Terminator movie, there was a lot of CGI and makeup to make Arnold look a lot younger than, because he's getting, what is he, like 70? He's pushing 70. I don't know what they're going to do this. They're not. I guess they're not rebooting, which is good. I'm getting sick of all these reboots, but it's a different timeline or different storyline because all the time travel that's possible. Now, I thought the last movie they pretty much did it by getting rid of the machine in the future, but anyway. So I don't know if she's going to be ripped like she was back then. She's 25 years older, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult, I guess, if she hasn't kept up with it. But I suppose you could get ripped when you're in your. I've seen pictures of men, not so much women, because ladies, they like to be thin, and fit. They may be runners or something, or do like Madonna, do Kabbalah. But I've seen some very fit 60 and 70-year-old men that their bodies do not look like. I mean, if you just looked at their face, you think, okay, yeah, they're in their 60s or maybe 70s. You looked at their bodies, man, and they had their shirtless pictures. You're like, really? Damn. Seriously. So maybe Linda Hamilton will end up looking like that if she gets back into look. She's a star, former star. She's probably still got a lot of money, so she can afford to train 6, 8, 10 hours a day. Most of us can't do that. We can't hire a personal trainer and get us in the tip-top shape. Like Tom Brady. There's also some news about Tom Brady here, about his regimen, his TB12 regimen. Evidently, the guy drinks up to 45 glasses of water a day. How the hell do you do that? I have no idea. That's a lot of water.
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
yeah, so there's going to be some new, evidently the Terminator movies, according to those in the know, are saying that there's going to be as many as 3 new ones, and they can be they will be, I don't know how they're going to do this, but they'll be a part of a trilogy, but each movie will stand alone. And so in other words, it won't be like, a lot of the new Marvel universe superhero movies where they're all tied together, and I guess they're all standalone movies too. They're tied together, but they're still standalone. And obviously, last night there was they were playing The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey on AMC, and those obviously really aren't those trilogies really obviously aren't standalone movies. That you need all 3 of them. And you can watch them individually. I mean, it's just like Lord of the Rings. You can watch them individually, but they're really not standalone films. And they tie in the superhero movies probably too close for them to really be standalones. But many of them are standalone films. So I guess that's possible to do. But I think maybe that they just might be a little bit too old. And well, I know people don't want to think about themselves getting old, but let's face it, we do get old. All of us get old. I know there are people that really want to fight the getting old thing. Tom Brady's doing it. He's 40 years old, still playing football, but he's an elite athlete, in elite shape. And I guess, with his TB12, however he came across this or developed it anyway, it's pretty specific, actually. And I guess there are people out there, health professionals that are warning against drinking so much water. You can actually drink too much water. But with Brady, it's different because, he's so elite and he's working out and he's sweating an awful lot. So, his water is filled with electrolytes and things like that, and so he's putting electrolytes and vitamins and salt back into his system as he sweats it out because he works out so much. I don't know. I guess the guy is 6'4", 225 pounds of pure, solid, lean muscle, and he's just he's just a rock. Good for him at 40. I mean, so this is what people are capable of becoming. But the average person who's the average guy who's out there at 40 years old probably doesn't have less than 10% body fat. They've got more than that, and they're not sweating, 12 hours a day or 8 hours a day working out. And so drinking that much water is going to be detrimental to their health. But there's also evidence that the standardized suggestion of 8 glasses of water a day is for many people is also too much. So there is no one size fits all. This is what I hate about nutrition and exercise and all these kind of regimens, that it's just one size fits all type of garbage. And for some people, some human beings, depending on what level of activity and what their fitness level is, it works. For other people, it doesn't work, and for still other people, it's unhealthy. So I'm here to tell you, don't fall for this one size, one way fits all type of health and diet routine, because it can be harmful to you. You have to learn about yourself first. This is all about learning about yourself. We're all into the self today, right? Everybody's talking about. The one thing that we still do is we still find all this other stuff out there that is one size fits all, and we think that's the way it should be. So we come up with laws, even that one size fits all laws. And and sometimes just that kind of stuff doesn't work out very well. For a reason, because we are different. We have a lot in common, but we also have a lot that we don't have in common as well. So whatever happened taking a little, I know there are people out there that try to pound out individualism out of everybody, but that doesn't work either.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden? What?
Eyes on the road, Dad!
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-603-835-3226. A lot of working out. Do you and don't think that working out is simply, I walk back and forth to the fridge, right? I mean, that's where I get all my walking in. There's this big push just to do walking, which is very good for you, by the way. But it is not going to walking alone is not going to get you into super shape. It's not. It's not going to get you into elite athlete shape. But if you just want to stay healthy, you got to stay active and stay moving, which is a good thing. And this is, there are some, which is I never understood some of these stars who, because we're told that yo-yo dieting, losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight and gaining is bad for you. But there are some stars that do this on a regular basis for a measly few $1 million. But we Americans are looking for ways to save time, but at the same time, we're looking for ways to be a little bit more lazy. Are we not? So we don't even want to walk to the TV. Remember the days when you had, most people, if you're under the age of 40, you probably don't know of the days when you actually had to get up and walk to the TV in order to turn the channel. Those channel dials, I mean, you had to actually there was a little bit of exercise there. You'd actually get up and go to the TV and change the channel. And then we got wired remotes where I remember getting that for the first. It was a cable box. It was literally a cable box. It was a rectangular box with channels on it, and you would press the buttons. You wouldn't, click, flip, click, clip, clip. And you'd go back and it was just on this long ass wire. It was cable. So that was that. I remember getting cable for that. This is a long time ago. We did and walking. You didn't have to walk to the TV. Well, you had to walk and find you didn't have to. You didn't lose that remote, by the way, because it was so large for one, and it was attached to the TV by a long cord. And then we started getting wireless remotes. But literally, the box was on a long cord, and you actually, So that's when we started getting really lazy. But evidently, Walmart is testing a way for people to be even lazier. Walmart is testing delivering groceries straight to your refrigerator with Walmart workers who can access customers' homes and put the purchases away. So not only look, it's like having, some people might say, well, I don't know if I trust somebody coming into my house. Well, you do already. There are a lot of people who we've got this proliferation, believe it or not, some well-established and growing franchise concerns are cleaning services. If you go to Craigslist or your local advertising section, you'll find there is a lot of people willing to clean your house, even if you're not there. I mean, we see on TV, sitcoms a lot that some people have maids. I mean, look at 2.5 Men. Berta. So this is nothing new. And look, I even owned a business briefly before I sold the customer base, where it was based on picking up and delivering your dry cleaning, not at your office, but at your house. Because nobody in my area was doing that. We had one franchise operator when I started the company. One franchise operator. They were slow, and they only went to your office. That was Press for Time, and now, from what I understand, Press for Time doesn't even do that anymore. But that was Press for Time. So they were when I did market research, they were the only, and I started doing it at people's homes. I would pick it, so they wouldn't even have to, take their dirty laundry to work. They could just leave it at home. And often they weren't even home when I arrived to pick it up. and to drop it off. So we've been conditioned to have people come to our houses, even letting themselves in. In today's fight, it's very easy to have a smart house or a smart lock to do it, to unlock the door and change the code every time, if you wanted to. I mean, there are people. You basically you set a code, you give your housekeeper a code, and it only works on the day that they're there, that they're supposed to be there. And these locks are really, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they're really not all that expensive. They're really not. But in any case, you can change it, and it takes you 30 seconds to change the code if you want to lock the person out. It's better than the key. So, this whole notion that we have people coming into our houses when we're not there, we already do that. We have people that look. We have a lot of, especially in major cities, a lot of people will have a catering service deliver dinner 1 to 5 times a week. And in order to do that, they have to come in and put the stuff in the warmer or the oven and set out and they do all this stuff when we're not there. So having Walmart come in and just loading our refrigerator, we already have that too. Basically, this is nothing new either. Rich Plan, American Frozen Foods, and Schwann's, they do that. They come to your house. You actually, you don't have to come to their house anymore to take the orders, but they used to come to your house and take your order. And then the Schwann or American Frozen Food or Rich Plan is now out of business, but Rich Plan, those drivers with their trucks that were freezers would come to your house. Now, usually you had to be home for this, but sometimes you didn't have to be, especially depending on where your freezer was. They would deliver your food and put it in your freezer for you. So this is nothing new. They're just bringing it to the masses now. So Walmart stores said on Friday it was testing a service in Silicon Valley to deliver groceries straight to a customer's refrigerators as it looks to gain an edge over Amazon. Now, Amazon obviously isn't putting it directly in your refrigerator. I'm not sure that I can't say that Amazon would never do something like that, or they couldn't because they could. But Walmart is not giving in or giving up to Amazon like so many other retailers are to Amazon so easily. They're going to fight them tooth and nail. Well, that's a good thing. Competition is always good. So we're going to see more services, from drone delivery of smaller packages to services that actually not only deliver stuff to your door, but actually put it away for you. I mean, in some communities, there are services that have people that not only, in my business case, not only take your dry cleaning to the dry cleaner and pick it up for you and deliver it, but actually put it away in your closet for you. We're getting to the point where we're just hiring people to do everything for us, where we don't have to do anything except go to work. Maybe in order to pay for all these services. That's the other part. Now you're gonna have to pay for. I mean, are these going to be the new? The new status symbols. Concierge services, basically. Hey, if you want to start a business, start a business based on concierge type of services. That's a growing industry right now. No, you don't have to do. I know some people are saying, "Well, geez, do I have to clean somebody's house?" No, you don't have to clean somebody's house. Just start do the grocery, do the chore list for them, the errand list, not the chore list. Do the errand list for people and do full service. If you're going to go shopping for groceries, just don't drop off the groceries, put them away. Just don't pick up the laundry and the dry cleaning. Put it away. it's a booming business right now. You can, if you need a job and you're looking for or if you're looking for an alternative or this is one way to do it. Don't just don't just pick up and deliver stuff. Just put the stuff away for them. Be that housekeeper that doesn't do any cleaning. I don't know. I mean, you look at some of the. Remember the house cleaner? What was her name from Brady Bunch? Florence B. Henderson played the character. I remember that, but yeah. I mean, so this is having a housekeeper actually, or a man Friday is nothing new. You remember what was it? Family Affair. There was Mr. French. The TV show Family Affair. American in New York he was basically a butler. So it's nothing new. Now it's just that nowadays these types of services or these types of people in our employ are more affordable. I don't know. So start a butler service or a Man Friday service if you want. Look, we have the individualized personal assist, virtual personal assistants now as well. So it's becoming more affordable. If you're looking for a business, extra income, do that. Nothing wrong with that. Just saying, in a little bit of heavier news, in defiance to U.S., Iran unveils latest missile during a military parade. So all this stuff about, Iran isn't going to get any missiles, man. Well, now they've unveiled a new missile. Iran's Revolutionary Guard on Friday unveiled its latest ballistic missile capable of reaching much of the Middle East, including Israel, while the country's president vowed that Tehran would press ahead with its missile program in defiance of U.S. demands to the contrary. Oh, wait. I thought they weren't supposed to have a missile program. Isn't that what Obama told us? Oh, hey, we're going to keep them from getting a missile. And here you have, in defiance of the U.S. demands that they stop their missile program, the current Iranian president said, we're going to do it anyway. In other words, they were doing it all along. It's just that we had a weak, feckless president who was letting them get away with it and even paying them to do so. The unveiling came during a military parade in Tehran that commemorated the 1980s Iraq-Iran war, in which it was a stalemate. They like to celebrate saying it was a win. They didn't win in a damn thing. It's like Saddam Hussein was trying to say it was a win. That's where Saddam got his, got his britches, as it were, to do what he did for the last 10, 15 years of 20 years of his reign. Because he took on the big bad Iranians and he beat them back to a stalemate. And he thought he was all that. And of course the Iranians are saying, well, see, look what we did. We took on this tyrant in the Middle East and we held him off. So they both claim victory. Neither one won a damn thing. As far as I know, the map looks exactly the same today as it did, 50 years ago. There was no change in territory. They would beat each other back and forth across the border all the time. The Iranians they gained some territory. And then all of a sudden, a week later, the Iranians lost territory and they'd be pushing across the Iraqis would be pushing across the Iranian border. It was this back and forth stalemate. But now they're developing these missiles. Obviously, Iraq is not developing any missiles. But Iran is, and they have been for quite a while, since President Clinton. Well, you know what? We're just going to do like we do with North Korea. We're just going to try to rob them into not doing anything. And this is what Obama thought that he would. Well, I don't really honestly know what Obama was thinking when he made the deal that he made. Yeah, we're going to give you money. And, if we give you the money, you're not going to make any strike. You're not going to use it for developing missiles, right? Okay, well, then we'll give you your money. Because Iran was basically saying, give me my money. It's like, Stewie, give me my money, man. Give me my money. I want my money, man. Because we had a lot of their billions of dollars of theirs held up. Around the world, actually. And they wanted the money back. And Obama made it possible for them to get their money back. And they're putting that money into developing. But, hey, if we give you your money back, you're not going to develop any kind of nuclear or extracurricular missile activity, are you? Okay, we trust you. You give us your word, and we believe you. And so the Iranians saying, with both their fingers crossed behind, their back, they're saying, yeah, you can trust us. We're not going to develop anything. And they're looking at each other saying, what a bunch of fools. So we gave them their money, and they start using it not only to develop missile technology, but also to share it. I wonder who they shared that missile technology with.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. There's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
(603-835-3226). This whole Weathergate, or this whole thing with global climate, San Francisco and a few other municipalities are suing. I brought you this yesterday. Are suing oil companies, 5 oil giants. They're suing them because The 5 oil giants have used oil to make money, make profit. They spread oil around, help spread oil around the world, which is a man-made climate changing product. And they're suing them because they're contributing to raising the sea levels, even though sea levels are not being raised at all. They're climate science says that the sea levels are rising, but they're not rising. So they're suing them so they can pay for anti-sea rising walls and dikes and pumps and all that kind of stuff to mitigate the problem. Now, folks, you got to understand, a court's got to beat this back. Even a liberal court judge has got to look at this and say, are you out of your freaking... You've gone too far. This is stupidity. Because you're actually using, oil right now to come to this courtroom. So, I'm sorry. If you honestly believe this kind of crap, you should not use any modern convenience that has anything to do with oil at all. Because you're obviously contributing. How can you sue somebody for doing that when that's like, somebody telling you, well, cigarettes cause cancer. And you puff and puff and puff at 10 packs a day. And you say, well, cigarettes gave me cancer. Well, before you started smoking, I told you it was going to give you cancer if you smoked them. But yet you wouldn't smoke them anyway. So it contributed to your own cancer. Now, I know some people have done that and they've won, but that's becoming less and less a possibility now because you're supposed to already know the risk and the dangers. Well, if you already know that using oil is going to raise the sea levels, but you're still utilizing oil in one capacity or another, are you not complicit? So how can you sue somebody when you're doing the exact same thing? Just because they provide you with the item does not mean you have to use it. Just because cigarettes are for sale somewhere doesn't mean that I have to go and buy them and consume them. Don't drive a car. You driving a car? Well, I got to drive a car. Why do you have to drive a car? Why can't you walk? Walking doesn't use oil. Well, yeah, I can go get a bicycle. Well, the bicycle has to be manufactured. How do you think bicycles are manufactured today? They're manufactured using energy produced by oil. Do you have a television? Do you have a computer? Well, where do you think that electricity is coming from? Most likely from a coal or oil-fired or byproduct power plant. Why don't you have solar panels up on your roof? Oh, by the way, how do you think they're making those solar panels? Oh, yeah, they're probably made in a factory that uses electricity powered by fossil fuels. Same for that stupid wind generator. So unless you are completely off the grid, which San Francisco is not, obviously, how the hell can you sue somebody? You're just as complicit in destroying the planet as the oil company is. And this is why this stuff has got to be beat back. This is why it's just utterly, utter stupidity. I mean, it's so stupid I can't even believe that somebody would even consider, a lawyer would even consider even bringing the case forward. It's just that ridiculous. Just on the face of it. I haven't even begun yet on that one.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
I was terrified. It was like your head's gonna explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome back, hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. Glad that you are here on this Friday morning. Yes, it is Friday. Welcome to Freedom Friday. Yes, Freedom Friday, which is also September number 22 in the year of our Lord 2017. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here. You can, of course, participate today, as you can every day that we're on the air. But you got to utilize the Hot Rod line, which is 603-835-3226. Again, that's 603-835-3226, and that is toll-free for most calling plans. And we can talk about just about anything you want to talk about today, simply because it's Freedom Friday. Yeah, we talk about lighter subjects or just about any subject that you want on Fridays as we slide on into the weekend to celebrate more of our freedom returning to us, or at least us being able to keep the freedom that we currently have without losing it to our government. Now, it is a little bit chilly out here today. Today is the first day of fall. We have the daily reading of today's holidays later this half hour. But today is the first day of fall. The autumnal solstice, I guess, is what they would call it, the autumnal equinox. Now, at the equator, today is basically there's 12 hours of sun and 12 hours of darkness. The day and night is equal today. Now, I know a lot of people think, well, they think that means that it's equal all over the planet. No, it's not equal all. It's equator. Now, of course, it gets a little bit different. When you go south of the equator, it's not fall. Today is the first day of spring. South of the equator. I know that freaks out some people. How is it the first day of spring? Well, because they're in winter down there while we're in summer. Everything is opposite. Even the way the direction that the water swirls in the toilet goes in another direction. So they're opposite down there. The only thing that's not opposite is time. Just saying. So it is actually the first day of spring down there, because we're some of us might be regretting. Oh my God, it's fall, it's autumn. Well, down there they're rejoicing because it's spring, south of the equator. But today it is rather cool today for the first day of fall, reminding us that we do have. We're not going to get out of the 60s up here in northern New England. Today, just reminding us that cooler weather is ahead. However, tomorrow and all through next week, we're expecting temperatures in the 70s and 80s. So it's more like summer temperatures than autumnal temperatures. But you can't say that everywhere. No, you can't say that everywhere. California, this is something that is totally freaking out and flipping out climate change professors, those who profess climate change, not necessarily a college professor or anything like that, but those who profess that that there is climate change and man is the cause of it are scratching their heads and are flipping out over the fact that California everything's warming up. Remember? According to these people, they're not, even though they're not calling it global warming, everything is still warming up. You know, the ice is melting, the snow caps are melting, the sea levels are rising. The sea levels can only rise if the ice melts. So the ice is melting, sea level rising, but California skiers hit the slopes in September. In fact, all summer long. Yes. All summer long, they have been on the slopes in skiing, evidently in parts of California. In the last week of summer in California, Brennan Lagasse, who has this piece on SanFranciscoGate.com, sfgate.com, he said, during the last week of summer in California, I went skiing twice. And to be honest, it was pretty good skiing. They were off of Carson Pass in the Sierra Nevada mountains near Kirkwood, and the conditions were a nod to last season's monster winter. Yes, monster winter. Now, this is he goes skiing. But there's another story here from the Los Angeles Times. On the last day of summer, California is hit by an unusual snow and hailstorm. Snow fell in the Sierra Nevada on the last day of summer, giving the towering mountain range shared by California and Nevada a wintry look in September and making travel hazardous. From the snowfall in September, in summer, in land of summer, California. Now, I don't hear anybody out there talking about, oh, man, we're going into an Arctic freeze, because of man-made climate. They're still talking about, well, hey, if we're going into an Arctic freeze, if we're going into an ice age and the Sierra Nevada snow cap and all summer long and the early snowfall in summer is any proof or indication of that, then San Francisco's lawsuit about the rising ocean levels and needing to do something about it is a moot point. Why? Because, well, we need water, ocean water, to create all that snow and ice. And if Northern California is freezing, do you think north of Northern California is going to be freezing? And you think the farther north you go, like to the Arctic, that is going to be freezing? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, we've seen the satellite pictures and data. All week long, I brought you the stories about how the polar ice cap, especially in the North Pole, is 40% larger than it was just 5 years ago. It's huge and growing. Isn't this funny? So California, you got a city in California announcing it's going to sue five or more oil companies for climate change and global warming and rising sea levels. And the sea levels are actually going to be dropping because of snow and ice. Folks, you can't make this stuff up. So according to this little do-gooder, Brennan Lagasse, and he obviously evidently doesn't get the irony of his story, however. If you read his piece, he really doesn't get the irony. Since there are so many prime summer activities in the Sierra, it's fair to ask why someone might choose to go skiing in September. Well, I think most people who do it would simply say, because we can. And because the conditions were surprisingly good. So it wasn't as if they went out there and the conditions sucked. This guy went twice in 1 week because the conditions were that good. Unlike September 21st. They were that good. While we're up here in northern New England having some, fairly warm weather, although this summer although I do believe this summer was warmer than last summer, it was no record. And we keep hearing from the climatologist people who believe in global warming that this is the hottest summer on record, and this is really where? It wasn't all that hot around here. We've had hotter summers. I've experienced them here. So, and we're still recovering pretty much from 2 years ago, having a record snowfall and cold winter. Now, although last winter was not not even near record temperature lows or snowfall, it was still nothing to slouch at, nothing to sneeze at. It was still an event. And if you're going to believe the Old Farmer's Almanac, this year is not going to be much better. In fact, this winter they're predicting is going to be colder. It's hard to believe considering that we're still in this, we're going to be in the 70s and 80s for the next week. But then, as soon as September 30th hits, October 1st, there go those warm temperatures. We're in the 60s. And temperature begins, the extended outlook looks like we're heading even farther south, which is normal about this time of year. October brings on the cool weather, but the weather could change very fast and the temperature could drop before we know it. We've had snow in October. Significant snowfall in October here in New England before. It's not rare. I mean, it hasn't happened in a couple of years, but it has. We've had it this century. I know it's kind of strange to say century, right? We're in this century. We are in the 20. We're 17 years into the the 21st century, basically. Can you believe that? It just seems like it was just yesterday. We're worried about the year 2000 and computers crashing all over the world. Remember that? And we were playing "Gonna Party Like It's 1999" until somebody finally said, "Well, it's the year 2000. Stop playing that damn song." So we've had all this stuff since the problem with all of these wonderful so-called doomsdayers or doomsayers is that we have recent historical reference and data about how wrong they are, which is why they're constantly trying to extend their prediction and their so-called doomsday weather models far into the future, where most of us are not going to be alive to see if they're right or wrong. And by that period of time, if they've gotten what they want, it'll be too late. If they've gotten all their ideas put into place and caused an upheaval of economic conditions around the globe because of their stupidity, it'll be too late. If they are wrong, they'll just say, well, look, they're already changing their tune about so far. We've got this new data showing that, they're saying, and their data, the models were wrong, and things have not warmed up as much as we thought, and things are cooling off and blah. Well, and now they're saying, well, it's due to the fact that we've instituted windmills and solar panels so much around the globe. Really? So 2 years ago, we had a record low temperatures and record snowfall in New England because some people around the planet use solar panels and windmills. So we got that kind of a reprieve, huh? And by the way, if I do, 2 years ago, the Old Farmer's Almanac predicted, they didn't predict it was going to be a record year that year, but they predicted it was going to be pretty bad. And they're kind of doing the same this year. They're predicting it's going to be kind of bad, I think. I think that's their prediction. It's going to be colder than usual. I know people always talk about how, how folklorish the old Farmer's Almanac is. But you know what? If these people can't even predict the weather that's happening out in California, they didn't predict this stuff. They didn't predict snow, the snow level in California the way it is. They didn't predict people being able to ski all summer long in fair spring-like conditions until September. I mean, can you imagine what next year's going to be like after all of this year's snowfall out there? Man, it's going to be skiing heaven.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
To pay a visit to the Old Farmer's Almanac. It's really easy to find. It is headquartered in the beautiful bucolic little village town of Dublin, New Hampshire, right on the main thoroughfare, Main Street, Route 101, in Dublin. At the town, well, it's a little tiny town circle, but if you want to call it downtown Dublin, it's across the street from the police station and town library. Literally. That is where the Old Farmer's Almanac. It's in an old building. They've refurbished the building. It's a beautiful building. And it's right next door to the local fire station and a bucolic New England church. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for the sign next to the parking lot, you would pass by it and not even think twice about what it is, what's in there. You really wouldn't. I mean, it's just part of the New England landscape. By the way, Dublin is if you're ever in New England now that we're coming up in leaf peeping season, the Monadnock, Dublin is located in what we call the Monadnock region, which is the southwest corner of the state of New Hampshire. In a couple of weeks, it is going to be absolutely ablaze with yellows and reds. It's going to be gorgeous over there. It always is. And Dublin is that quintessential. If you want to take some pictures that is quintessential New England, Dublin is probably Dublin is one of the towns, the small towns that'll give you that look. Now, the city of Keene, which is a city of about 23,000 people, will also give you that type of look for a larger community. But if you want the quintessential small New England town in fall, Dublin is absolutely gorgeous. It's perfect for that. As well as there are other communities. There are some western Massachusetts towns that are similar. But that takes place, their colors come into full bloom a little bit about a week after Dublin's does. It's a progression, works its way north to south. But with that said, here are today's holidays that we have today. There's quite a few of them, so I got to rush through it. Today is Business Women's Day. It is also Dear Diary Day. Now, don't women keep diaries most often? But they're too busy. I guess they're keeping their business. The diary of their business today. So today is Business Women's Day and Dear Diary Day. It's also International Day of Radiant Peace. Did we already have an International Day of Peace? What's the difference between peace and radiant peace? I don't know. I guess it's more touchy-feely, warm and fuzzy today. Radiant. It's also Love Note Day. Wrong time of season for this to happen for us up here in the north, but it is National Ice Cream Cone Day. Shouldn't that be like in July? Yeah, well, it's today. Not National Ice Cream Day. It is National Ice Cream Cone. It's a day that celebrates ice cream cones. It's also National Centenarians Day, so people who are 100 or more have their special day today. Believe it or not, it's also National Hobbit Day. So get to know, celebrate your local hobbit. It's also National Elephant Appreciation Day. Now, I didn't know we had elephants outside of zoos here, but evidently, if you find an elephant outside of a zoo here in North America, it's a day to appreciate them. It's also National Proposal Day, National Legwear Day, National White Chocolate Day, and today is also World Rhino Day. Not as in Republican in name only, but as in the real rhinoceroses. It is World Rhinoceros Day. It is also Native American Day. It is also the first day of fall, as you know, or the fall equinox or autumnal equinox. It is also World Car Free Day. Yes, speaking of global warming, today is a day that celebrates that you celebrate by participating in the World Car Free Day event in your city. Events around the world have included things such as arts and crafts markets, free bus services. It is a day where people give up driving their cars for a day to demonstrate and experience what it would be like to live in a world without cars. Do you want to live in a world without cars? Do you want? I know what it's like not having a car. It's called horse and buggy or bicycle. You don't. So in order to, you're going to give up your car for. That's like giving up electricity for a day, right? Anybody ever do that? There is a day in the year where you're supposed to not use electricity. I don't know how you don't use electricity, but you're supposed to give up, a day where you give up electricity. But today's a day where you give up your car. So don't drive your car today, so you know what it's like to not have a car. So that when tomorrow comes, you'll appreciate your car and you'll drive it everywhere. Just saying. So those are your holidays for today, September number 22. We'll be back.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with the debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C, but most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye. I mean, I would have.
Visit brainhealth.gov.
Bring the rain.
Six zero 3835-3226. Welcome back. Speaking of it being National Elephant and National Rhino Day, I just want to remind people that here in New Hampshire, back in the mid-'90s, we had an epidemic of these creatures running loose on the streets. Out in southwest New Hampshire in Keene, we had elephants, rhinoceroses, monkeys, and other jungle animals on the streets. And you're probably thinking, how the hell? Hey, look, we have it documented. That's how do you think we got the movie Jumanji? Yes. Jumanji was actually, half of it was at the downtown scene, as well as many other scenes in the movie. But the major scenes in the major town scenes were all filmed in the little bucolic city of Keene, New Hampshire. And in fact, they still have remnants of the movie to this day on the town square, in the form of some of the billboards, the paintings on some of the walls, the shoes, the Coca-Cola sign, and things like that are still there. They're still there. And I don't believe he's retired yet, but there is a barber on the square who was also an extra in the movie, and he had you can actually recognize him in the movie too. But he's got a little sign in his window, and he could tell you all about the movie and meeting Robin Williams and everything else. So, yeah, a little bit of local history and lore there in New Hampshire. But I did realize, I remembered seeing this, but evidently there is a Jumanji, not a reboot, but sequel. There is going to be Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. Now, it is due out for the Christmas holiday season, and it is starring, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who's just going by Dwayne Johnson now, one of the highest paid entertainers out there, believe it or not. I mean, he's like Mark Wahlberg. He's just raking in the bucks. So it's starring Dwayne Johnson, Kevin Hart, Nick Jonas, Karen Gillian, and Jack Black. He's been missing for a while. I don't know where he's been, but he's Welcome to the Jungle, Jumanji, which is not a reboot. It is a sequel to the original Robin Williams movie. Nick Jonas is going to be in this? Really? Well, that should get some of the younger... it's going to get some of the younger viewers into the... They're calling it a tribute to Robin Williams, who died back in 2014 now. Can you believe it? 3 years ago? Has it been 3 years since his death? I guess so. If this is 17 and he died back in 2014, so it's got it's going to be in select IMAX 3D theaters, and it is slated for a December 20 release. Yeah, since it is not a reboot, but it is a sequel, a standalone sequel, and it does have Dwayne Johnson and Jack Black, who I think is actually, he's pretty funny. I may just plunk down my 15 or 20 bucks to go see it, in IMAX 3D in December. It's great. I'm not going to have any high expectations of it, but for hopefully they'll be able to, if it's a tribute to Robin Williams, hopefully they'll they'll do the movie justice. Now, you have to remember that they did toss the game back into the water, and it ended up somewhere in some seashore on the edge of some jungle. So there you go. So it wasn't meant to have Robin Williams in it, I guess. Although I think they did talk about, while he was alive, they talked about having a Jumanji sequel with him in it. But I don't know how well that would have worked. He probably put it off because he probably knew it was not going to work with him in it. But in any case, set your calendars for December 20th of this year for the premiere in local theaters, IMAX 3D theaters, for Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, sequel to the original 1995 Jumanji movie, partially filmed in Keene, New Hampshire, where they had elephants. They didn't have any. I didn't see any lions or tigers or bears in Jumanji, so that's probably a good thing. If you did, people might have thought it was the end of the world. And I am sure that if they were all, CGI animals in the Jumanji movie. I mean, for people who don't know that, I mean, I'm sorry, that's bursting your bubble, but they weren't real animals. And if they were real, people in Keene might have thought it really was the end of the world. Well, there were people out in Orange County, California, that thought it was the end of the world because an end-of-world prediction actually interrupts TV broadcast. Yes, here's the story. Some Orange County residents were stunned yesterday when television programming was suddenly interrupted for about a minute with an ominous message predicting the end of the world. Some residents said that they were watching TV, including this one TV watcher. She was watching HGTV via Cox Communications at about 11 a.m. when suddenly an emergency alert flashed across her screen, followed by a voice. Realize this, extremely violent times will come, a man's voice boomed, according to a video of the alert. LaFlamme said that she was alarmed. It almost sounded like Hitler talking. Has anybody alive today ever heard Hitler talk, really? Was he speaking in German? It sounded like a radio broadcast coming through the television. In addition to Cox, Spectrum cable customers in Orange County also received the alert. So, you know how you have in movies and TV shows where they where the bad guy breaks into mass communications, especially TV, and we always say, well, that can't happen in reality. That's just fantasy. Well, evidently, somebody actually figured out how to do it. Because they did. If you think this is going to be the last time that this sort of thing happens, oh, you're sadly mistaken. Now that they realize that they can do it and how to do it, it is good. I know that the cable companies and TV stations are going to scramble to try to patch any holes that they may have exploited in order to get this on the air. But the system is the system the way the system is. And the emergency broadcast system is designed in such a way where it interrupts anything and everything that's already being broadcast. So all they have to do is continue. Once they figure out one way in, they can figure out more. That's the problem with patching. When you find a hole and you try to patch the hole, well, it's too late because they've already been in. And then once they get in, they can exploit other weaknesses or create weaknesses that you don't know about. So they can exploit them again. So I am sure this won't be the last time that we see such a break. People said that they were definitely startled. The volume increased exponentially as well. In some people are reporting that their TV volume was automatically raised to a ridiculous level, so everybody in the house or wherever they were would hear it. But the mysterious alert became a hot topic on social media. The problem occurred because one or more radio stations conducting emergency tests, Joe Camero, spokesman for Cox, said Thursday. See, they conduct these emergency tests, broadcast tests, so often. I mean, it's ridiculous how often they do this. It's kind of like the boy crying wolf thing. And frankly, and it does have, the only reason why I pay it, see, the testing is different from the actual live emergency. The test, and you can tell the difference usually by volume, because usually when it's a test, well, first of all, when the real thing happens, I'm not usually watching TV or something or listening to the radio, but when the test happens, the volume usually doesn't go up. We've had the real thing, weather-related emergency broadcast system around here in northern New England. The volume is high. So they have control over your volume, by the way. So this is probably what got people's attention, thinking that it was a real thing. And with the earthquakes happening in Los Angeles recently, the little rumblings, I'm sure it probably got a lot of people's attention at first. A lot of people paid attention at first to what this guy was saying. And it won't be the last time, because they're using the emergency broadcast system, which is everywhere. I mean, it's a good thing. I'm not going to say it's a bad thing or it's an ominous thing or ominous thing. Geez, I can't talk. It's not necessarily an ominous thing, and it's not necessarily an Illuminati or Bilderberg thing. It's a good thing to be able to let people know, no matter what device they're listening or watching, that there is an emergency that they need to pay attention to and know about. But it makes it easy for somebody to do what they just did. And now that they've done it once, they're going to be able to do it again and again and again until we change the system. Because all that's going to happen is government officials and TV stations and cable networks, all they're going to do is put a patch. And like I said, once somebody's in, they can create invisible weaknesses in other areas that they can exploit later at their will. Just saying. By the way, speaking of, patching, another court tells police, no. Want to use a Stingray device? Get a warrant. Now, the Stingray was first brought to light some time ago. I even brought it, mentioned it here on this program a number of times. The D.C. Court of Appeals, even if you know the police can track you, doesn't mean that they should, is what the court is saying. They have this device called the Stingray, which is a cell site simulator. Now, the District of Columbia Court of Appeals ruled that the warrantless use of cell site simulators, otherwise known as Stingrays, violated the Constitution when a man suspected of sexual assault and robbery was located by local police. In a 2-1 opinion issued Thursday, the D.C. Court of Appeals, effectively the equivalent of a state Supreme Court, agreed with the lower court's ruling that the use of the device, also known as a Stingray, was unconstitutional. In addition, however, the judges went further. They found that the violation was so egregious that any evidence derived from the Stingray should be excluded from the case, which overturned the conviction. Now, this particular case, Prince Jones versus United States, joins a recent string of judgments from around the country that concluded that Stingrays are a search under Fourth Amendment. That means they require a warrant barring exigent circumstances or other known exceptions. A person's awareness that the government can locate and track him or her using his or her cell phone likewise should not be sufficient to negate the person's otherwise legitimate expectation of privacy, the majority concluded in the Thursday ruling. This is absolutely true, by the way. I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, I know people are saying, well, it's public information. No, it's not really public. It takes a special kind of device in order to, it's not something that's just out there. It takes a special kind of device. And remember, wasn't Newt recorded? Back in the day on cell phone, they use a similar Stingray device to capture a cell phone call and record it. And they were using it against him. And the grandparents, the grandparent age couple that did it got into some major heap trouble because of it. Because just because it's out there doesn't mean that you have the right to capture it. You know, we've already been through this sort of thing in radio way. Anything that travels over the airwaves can still be private, even though it's in public airspace. You can't capture and rebroadcast an NFL game, for instance, even if you capture it over the air. So this is no different. Being able to locate you. Remember the movie with Shia LaBeouf? I think he was in it, Eagle Eye. You just can't do that. And we should not allow it. You know, there have been numerous cases where the FBI has been chastised and told they need a search warrant in order to put a tracking device on your car. Even if your car is sitting in a public parking lot, they can't just walk up to it without a warrant and put a tracking device on it, which was their argument before. You can't just do that. People have a reasonable expectation of privacy even in public areas. And so now we have a liberal court, believe it or not, siding with the individual and not the government, which is really kind of surprising. So it must be really, really egregious if they're going to agree with the right-wing constitutionalists. Maybe they're right in California. The end of the world is near.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
Well, here's a little stinging story for those here on the American left, and we've often talked about this particular thing when it comes to the homosexual community, the LGBTQ, PDQ, XYZ community, as it pertains to Islam. As a matter of fact, there are gays that are alarmed by Islam as a group, as a community. In fact, in Europe, gays are so alarmed by the growth of Islam that it is forcing them to move right. For decades in both America and Europe, the gay establishment, gay magazines, gay rights organization, self-designated gay leaders, blah, 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 have been dictating politics to the gay multitudes. Those politics have been consistently left-wing, even if the masses generally were not. They've been left-wing and democratic. Not all gays have played follow the leader, but they believe, so say the leadership of such gay movements, that most have, so that in 2016 U.S. presidential elections, Hillary Clinton won a far larger percentage of the gay vote than Donald Trump. Even though Hillary had opposed same-sex marriage, like Obama, until 2013, had taken millions of dollars from governments that executed homosexuals and was married to the man who signed the Defense of Marriage Act, the gay mafia had managed to depict her as a gay-friendly person while depicting Trump as a longtime gay marriage supporter and enemy of gay rights. So figure that one out, folks. Trump was a supporter of gay marriage and gay rights. Hillary was not. She was against it. But Hillary was their choice. Even more perverse than the official gay take on Trump versus Clinton is the official gay party line on Islam. To get a good picture of this party line, all you need to do is glance through the archives of The Advocate, a gay news magazine. Islam is not intrinsically homophobic, was written in an article by Trudy Ring in a 2013 Advocate report. Really? So they're throwing you off buildings, hanging you, beheading you, arresting you over there in Islamic countries, but it's not intrinsically homophobic. It even says to kill you in the Quran, but it's not. This is why they're moving to the left. The general community or population of homosexuals in many European countries are now being found to be leaning right and voting for their safety. Well, I guess they're telling the leadership that they're a bunch of... I told you they're a bunch of idiots. It has nothing to do... I just don't understand how you can... Well, we've been over this ad nauseum with the left when it comes to this. And finally today, Illinois, the state of Illinois, for the first time has unpaid bill backlog of over $16 billion. The backlog is growing despite an enactment of a fiscal 2018 spending plan and income tax increase back in July. And this was due to an unprecedented 2 straight fiscal years without complete budgets, much like our federal government was doing. Illinois tried to do the same thing. And they've got $16 billion of unpaid bills, plus they're in the red, not the black. Even though that they have, even though they've increased income taxes, so now in order to close that gap, they're going to borrow at least $6 billion because in some cases they're not paying, they're incurring late fees. The equivalent of 12%. Kind of like our federal government. But only this is a state, and it's a liberal-run state, and the Democratic Congress or legislator in the state has been fighting and bashing and beating back the Republican governor, even overriding his vetoes over such stuff, and trying to get some fiscal responsibility in Illinois. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Anyway, we're out of time for the day and for the week, but we will be back here on Monday, God willing. So have a wonderful, freedom-enjoying weekend, folks, and we will see you right here on Monday. Don't forget to visit rodeccles.net as the site becomes more and more active, as it were. Until then, I'll see you later. I'm Rod Eccles. Thanks for tuning in. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain what, why it is, what they done, or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For a Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Oppo file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.